Podium, Mrs. Christiane Buggs, District 5 Representative and Vice Chair of the Metropolitan Nashville Board of Education.
Good morning, everyone. I am Christiane Buggs, the proud representative of District 5 on the Metropolitan Nashville Board of Education. I want to give a special thanks to one of the many wonderful schools in my district, Stratford STEM Magnet High School, for hosting this event. Administrators for Stratford, would you mind please taking a stand so we can acknowledge you? We are so very excited to be at your school to share highlights of accomplishments and priorities from around our district. I also want to take this opportunity to extend a big welcome to all who are here. Your presence is a demonstration that you care about our school district and the more than 85,000 students and 11,000 employees we serve each day. We have a committed team of administrators, principals, teachers, and staff who work hard every day to get things right for our children. The job of educating our students is not easy, and we know it. There are times when the best we have to give under difficult circumstances is just a thank you. Thank you, educators, for the work you do. Thank you for the bumps and bruises you take in support of our students. Thank you for being an inspiration to them and to so many across the city by standing strong and leading by positive example. You are very much appreciated. Before I take my seat, I do want to recognize my colleagues, those both present and not, who have joined us for this important conversation. Please stand as I call your name. Dr. Sharon Gentry, our board chair representing District 1. Mrs. Rachel Ann Elrod, representing District 2. Mrs. Jill Spearing, representing District 3, and she shares many of the families in the Stratford cluster. Mrs. Anna Shepard, representing District 4. Mrs. Fran Bush, representing District 6. Mr. Will Pinkston, representing District 7. Mrs. Jeannie Pupo Walker, representing District 8. And Mrs. Amy Froeg, representing District 9. Thank you for your attendance. But I would like to give a special thanks to all of the parents, and especially to my own father, Mr. Terry Cunningham, wherever you are. He's so handsome. Okay, he's not gonna wave, but that's all right. Thank you to the parents that are here because we could not do this job without you. Now it is with great pleasure that I introduce one of Stratford's outstanding students. This young lady is currently a senior and serves as Vice President of the Student Government Association. She is a student ambassador, mentors middle school students, and is the homecoming queen. And if that were not enough, she is a drum major and band leader here at Stratford and has even represented the school by speaking at conferences with Dr. Steele. After graduating, she will attend the Tennessee State University on a full scholarship majoring in agricultural science with a concentration on pre-veterinary science. Go ahead, sis. Ladies and gentlemen, to bring you greetings on behalf of Stratford and the entire student body, please join me in welcoming this amazing student, Ms. Shawn Moore.
Thank you so much, Ms. Buggs, for that kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. Y'all sound a little tired. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. There we go. I bring you greetings on behalf of the Spartan Nation. As mentioned, my name is Shawn Moore, and I'm a proud senior here at Stratford STEM Magnet High School. As Student Government Association Vice President and as a student ambassador, I have the privilege of welcoming many people to our great school. Today, I am pleased to welcome you and as we host this year's State of Schools. Stratford is a special place. We are a historic East Nashville, and we are a school rich in tradition. At Stratford, you find great teachers, awesome support staff, and engaged and lively students who make this learning community thrive. Our school is focused on academic excellence with an emphasis on science, technology, engineering, and math, otherwise known as STEM. Among a few other highlights about Stratford, we offer numerous advanced placement, which are AP courses. We offer a Cambridge option for students interested in advanced academies. We have 2 academies focused on national safety and security technologies and on science and engineering, which is NSST and ACE. I'm an ACE, I'm a science kid. ACE is the place. And there are numerous extracurricular activities such as art, band, poetry, and robotics, to name a few. Again, welcome to Spartan Nation. We hope you enjoyed today's program and your visit to our school. Now let me share another thing that's great about Stratford, our music. Under the direction of our choral teacher, Ms. Danielle Burris, please give a warm round of applause to the choral group Stratonics, who will be performing Wednesday.
Good morning. Ooh, this is good. All right, so I get to do some stuff. It's kind of like fun stuff. So I get to thank the chorus for singing. Stratonics, did I pronounce that right? All right, Stratonics, awesome performance. So I get a moment to personally recognize each of the students in this group. So we have sopranos, Bethany Cole. Please stand when I call your name. Bethany Cole, soprano, not here? See, that's why y'all should have called me. Okay. Bethany Cole, Shawn Moore. Thank you. Sophia Wells. Altos, Alex Barbier. Yeah. Ashley Higgins. Tenor, Hugo Conde. Baritones, David Bryant. Joshua Miller. Nick Rijote. And basses, Jamonte Ray Bond and Anthony Taylor. Let's give them a big round of applause. See, that was my opening for my next added line that Dawn did not write was, and let's thank the missing soprano, Sharon Gentry, because nobody told her about the rehearsals. Okay, so good morning again. I am Sharon Gentry, chair of the school board, and just want to assure you that we're not here to hear just another speech, right? So I know we've heard enough of those. We get to have a conversation, a really good conversation. As adults, don't panic, don't panic. To really listen and learn, as we hope and expect our students do every day in our classrooms, that they walk away not having just an opportunity to share ideas, but they walk away having learned other perspectives and creating an environment where, with maturity and respect, we can have an exchange of thoughts, an exchange of ideas, and leverage and respect everyone's passions. So that is actually why we're here, to have this opportunity to really stop and examine not only what has been accomplished, which has been a great deal and a lot. I know it gets missed in all of the murk, but more importantly, we need to just keep striving toward those successes. How do we capitalize on the strengths that we've developed? How do we push on the goals that we've identified? How do we continue to challenge ourselves to be better? The budget is just one piece of the puzzle, and we're in the midst of that right now, struggling with the limited amount of dollars and resources that we know we're going to end up with, but always making sure that our priorities are focused on students, on student achievement, and making sure that we're providing those best opportunities for our students to be successful. So that's why I'm excited about today's program. So we're going to have this conversation. It's going to take place, and it's going to give student voice, which I would dare say has been lost over the past 6 to 7 months of dialogue and rhetoric that we have heard. It has been elevated. And so we're taking this opportunity to actually try to find out, hey, what's going on with our students? What's going on with their hopes, their fears, their desires, their challenges? What is it that they want us to ensure that we know, that we understand, and that we start to redirect the conversation to focus on? So I get to introduce a young lady who is nothing short of amazing. When you meet people like this, Kennedy Musgrave, it gives you hope. And it also serves as a reminder of why we're here and what can be accomplished if we just continue to focus. So she's smart, obviously, intelligent, thoughtful, determined. Her future is bright. She's not an anomaly, though. There are many Kennedy Musgraves in our system. There are thousands of students in this district who are doing great things every day. And you've seen some of them here as they introduced you and welcomed you in the parking lot, at the door, escorted you with respect, articulate, well-mannered, all the things that they say that we have teachers running away from in our district. Come on, it's okay. It's okay. So let me tell you some things about Kennedy. She's a senior attending Hillsborough High School. College is in her plans, and she's preparing to head south to my home state, Louisiana, to attend historic Dillard University and major in psychology with pre-medicine concentration and a double minor in Spanish and public health. You can say it again. She is a candidate for the International Baccalaureate Diploma and has a 4.0 GPA and a 29 composite ACT score. We make 29s, y'all. She is in the top 5% of her class and has completed an extended essay entitled, "To What Extent Do Schemas Play a Role in Developing Stereotypes and Prejudices?" I'm going to move on. Additionally, Kennedy has attended and presented at several conferences. Among them are the National Student Leaders Summit, the Academies of Nashville Summer Institute, Music City SEL Conference, and the Tennessee Young Writers Workshop, just to name a few. She has received several awards, including the 2019 Prudential Spirit of Community, Tennessee Top High School Volunteer, the President's Volunteer Service Award, the 2018 Bank of America National Student Leader, the Geometry Award, and the IB Reflective Profile Award, IB Caring Profile Award, and the IB Principled Profile Award. Further, Kennedy is a member of the National Honor Society, in which she currently serves as president, was an 11th grade student ambassador and assistant captain of the cheerleading squad during her 9th and 10th grade years. Probably most impressive is the initiative she took as a student to develop the IB Achievers Program, established with the goal of increasing the retention of African American students in the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program at Hillsborough High School, providing academic, emotional, and social support. Her proud mother, Ms. Nyasha Justice, joins her in the audience today as well. Where's Mom? Mom, hey. So now, Kennedy, I have one request for you. When you get to Dillard University, there's a young lady there on campus named Taylor Gentry. I'm going to give you her picture and my phone number. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce Kennedy Musgrave, who will facilitate the conversation about our state of schools. Please welcome her now. And my vice chair is in the audience saying, I asked you one thing. I'm doing it. We also recognize any other elected officials we have here in the office. We have Brett Withers representing District 6 on the council, Anthony Davis for District 7, Kathy Buggs from Representative Cooper's office, Indira Damu from the mayor's office, and I just saw Ms. Karen Johnson walk in, our register of, say it. Register of Deeds. She likes to say that. She loves. The first African-American female register of deeds here in Davidson County. Thank you all. Are there any other elected officials that I have not, I've seen? Come on, help me out. Y'all know. Let's see. Hi. Stand up. Raise your hand. Okay, there we go. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank
you. My name is Kennedy Musgrave, and I'm a senior at Hillsborough High School. I'm excited to join in this conversation today on the proposed 2019-2020 budget and what MNPS has accomplished to date. At this time, I want to welcome an experienced educator who has fought for excellence and equity for every student he has served in his more than 20-year career. Working his way up the ranks from teacher to superintendent, he has garnered national recognition for his work and expertise in the field of education. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Metro Nashville Public Schools Director, Dr. Shawn Joseph. I have a series of questions that I will ask Dr. Joseph, and we will share some videos that speak to some of this year's budget requests. So with that being said, Dr. Joseph, welcome and good morning.
Hey, good morning to you.
How are you doing?
Hey, I'm fired up and ready to go.
Well, let's get right into this with our first question.
Let's do it.
Could you please provide an overview of what the school district proposed 2019-2020 budget includes?
Absolutely. You know, this is a budget that is really a back to the core budget. It's a budget that hopefully gets us back to where we were last year. We're asking for about $31.7 billion. 15 or 16 million of that is for compensation. So we want to give a 3% cost of living increase to all employees, and we want to add an additional $1 an hour raise for bus drivers, because we need to really do something about the cost of living in the city. We also have dollars in textbooks, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that. But we have to make sure that our teachers and our staff have the resources that are needed to be successful. Let's try this again. Sound kind of like Barry White. So like I said, cost of living increase of 3% plus the additional dollar for our bus drivers. We're going to add money for textbooks, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. We want to make sure that our students have the resources necessary to be successful. We want to invest in pre-K. That has been something that the district has focused on, and we want to make sure we continue with the high-quality pre-K program that we have. And, we need to do some infrastructure work with resources and IT, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Thank you. Thank you.
Why did the budget decide to focus on compensation, and what does this mean for employees?
You know, this budget had to balance the needs of students as well as the needs of our employees. So when we looked at what we were going to ask for, knowing the fiscal realities of the city, we made a conscious decision to ask for the cost of living increase, which is a 3% raise. And I know many people are saying that that's simply not enough because last year, as you know, we were not able to give our employees any raises to needing to get $15 million from our budget. And that was hard. That was hard for our employees. And as we talked about last year, and we've talked about for the past 3 years here, we have to pay a livable wage in this city if we want to keep our high quality talent that we have here. But, you know, in year one, we were able to get a 3% raise in a step. Last year, we couldn't. So this year, we're trying to get back to that 3%. But we know it's going to be a challenge with a $31.7 billion request. We think that that's going to be a challenge for the city to achieve in its own. So what I'm really hoping is that we take this year, and we're able to get that COLA, we could take this year to sit with the mayor's office, sit with our employee groups, and to sit down with the council to really sit down and look at a long-term solution to better wages in our district. You know, it's important. If we don't plan for it, if we don't say in 3, 4, 5 years we want to give, you know, 4 or 5% raises over the course of the next 3 years, and this is how much it's going to cost, and then start asking the questions about what are the funding sources to get us there, we won't get there. And I think it's a disservice to our employees, and it's frustrating year after year to figure it out without a long-term commitment. So it's my hope that the Board of Education, the Mayor's Office, the Council will, in this season, just sit down and come up with a real task force or plan to make that happen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I have a question for you. One of the questions that I have, centers around our need for instructional materials and technology. You've been a student in our district now from pre-kindergarten, as I understand, all the way through 12th grade. And the question that I have for you is, do you feel like you have had adequate instructional materials? And if you can talk to me about the technology successes and challenges that you've had as a student.
All right. I'm sure as some of you know, and as you know, Metro Schools made a switch within the recent years to have classroom sets of textbooks instead of each individual student having a textbook of their own. This has proven to be a challenge within itself, as in some classrooms we might only have 4 textbooks that have the curriculum we're learning, some of which are torn, written on, missing pages, which has proven difficult in learning the curriculum and getting the materials we need. Now, luckily, I've been able to counter this problem by having access to a laptop at home, having a laptop I can carry with me at school, and my mother paying for extra supplemental books that can make up for the lack of textbooks in the classroom. However, I'm cognizant that not each student is in this position. They can have a laptop at home or have a laptop to carry around with them at school. And also the schools provide laptops for students. Trying to find a laptop that works, isn't dead, isn't missing some key component, is trying to find a needle in a haystack. And not all teachers have the time to send students to the library to access a computer that works. And I feel personally, without the supplemental resources I've had, without quality teaching, of course, I wouldn't be as prepared to go on to college because of the lack of textbooks that we have in the classroom, and also the lack of functioning computers that we have.
Kennedy, you touch on a point that we've been talking about as a district for the past years, and it's a notion that we call equity. Right? How do we make sure all kids are advantaged by being in our school system? It's not. It shouldn't be that we rely on your parents to supplement to get you those materials. I think a great school system handles that for all students that mature, and that's one of the reasons we have this as one of our priorities. But we have a video that we'd like to show to just hear from other parents, teachers, and students on this issue.
All the I have here built. So
I think textbooks are a key resource that every student needs so that everyone has access to the same basic information.
what happened in the Dust Bowl?
Textbooks right now are the best way to ensure equity amongst all of our students in the district. With the high poverty rate and with the high mobility rate of our students, the textbook is the only thing that they will find as a constant.
As a social studies teacher, we're often having to find those sources on the internet and print them off for all of our students. I either make, write, or print everything that I use.
So now I want you guys to think about what this poem is describing.
If you want to have like a good school, you need textbooks to help kids so they can see pictures, have pictures and read the text, and they can take it home.
But the textbook is going to be what's the key set of information across a whole class that everyone has access to interact with, instead of assuming that children have it outside of the school.
And it would be great if everyone had a computer at home and the kids had access to the internet at home. They pretty much just have their phones, and if you've ever tried to really read something on a cell phone, it's almost impossible.
So until we reach that point where all of our students, or at least some very high percentage, can reliably access information online, then textbooks are the best way to have consistency and equity to our classroom.
It all comes down, in my view, to funding and the ability for the district to use funds to help give every student the best opportunity to education.
Okay, who's being described there?
Thank you for that video. Now I'm going to continue with a few more questions.
Absolutely.
I understand that the district has placed emphasis on addressing social emotional learning support for students. Why has this been made importance, and what is currently being done in this area?
Yeah, that's a great question. We know that students don't come to classrooms with their health needs taken care of. That's their mental health needs or their physical health needs. Their ability to learn dramatically diminishes. So as a district, we've been talking about social emotional learning, and we've been putting supports in place, but we recognize there are many more supports needed. We're a district with 86,000 children within it, and we have lots of families that are distressed, and they bring that stress to the buildings, which make it very difficult for children to learn, and we see that stress manifests itself sometimes in behavioral challenges. And I just feel like we need to do something about it. So for years now, we've been putting incremental investments in social emotional learning. And this year's budget, quite frankly, doesn't go as far as I would have liked to go. But it's something what we've invested in this budget, just more professional development dollars to maintain the levels support that we have had. We've been funding a lot of our social emotional learning work under grant funds, and now we want to preserve those grant funds. But again, this is something that, as I think about this and we think about this as a district, it's not something that we're going to be able to solve ourselves. And again, it's one of the things that we're calling on, our city, and we're really calling on the private sector in Metro Nashville, particularly the health sector, because again, we are the healthcare hub of America. There are very few places that have so many high quality health services in the region. And I think, we won't ever be able to put in a budget, the 50 or 60 psychologists and social workers and things that we need in our budget. What I think we need to do with social emotional learning is like what we've done with early literacy, where we've gotten external philanthropic dollars with our city to come together in a coalition to do something about it. So again, I'm really calling on our mayor's office and our Chamber of Commerce to really convene those leaders to be able to help us look at the gaps in services that we have and to help us come up with creative solutions and a combination of local government and private dollars to really move forward. But it is a huge area of need for us. Again, the budget dollars we put in right now is just to maintain the high quality programs that we have. Knowing an area without question, we cannot do it alone.
Building off of one of the statements you just made, I understand that MNDS has made a lot of progress in the pre-K programs. What is happening in pre-K now, and what did the school district decide to focus on it in this budget?
Yeah, that's another great question. So in 2016, when I arrived into the district, Vanderbilt had just completed a study. And that study essentially said that the quality of our pre-K programs wasn't as strong as we would like it to be. We took that head on with the mayor's office, with the Public Education Foundation, with a multitude of nonprofits to come together to really look at the quality of our pre-K programs. And we're proud that going almost 3 years later, this year, Citigroup, which is City Health, which is a nonprofit organization, came and looked at Nashville's programs and gave us a gold rating for the quality of our programs. Now, we've been able to, and that deserves a round of applause, I think. We have built up a lot of our pre-K work as a result of grant dollars. And those grant dollars are leading us this year. So we want to at least maintain the high-quality programs that we have in place. So there are 22 classrooms now that we feel are essential for us to maintain, because pre-K gives kids a leg up in being successful. I hope that some of your high-quality pre-K that you had years ago have resulted in you doing as well as you've done. That's something we need to maintain. And again, we have a video that gives a little more depth about what we've been doing in pre-K, so let's take a look.
Davis Learning Center is so important to our family because it's giving our child the education and the skills that he's needed in order to transition to kindergarten. He's autistic. He was diagnosed last year, so one of my main things was him to be able to just cope in a normal environment. He hasn't had a lot of experience with children his age. He really doesn't gravitate with children his age. You know, he's a different child since he's been going to Davis Learning Center.
Pre-K children are learning something every second, whether it's foundational literacy skills, whether it's math skills, whether it's learning how to problem solve with their friend or learning to share.
You know, we know 4 through 5 is when their brain is developing at the rapid pace. So we know from pre-K students that they come in sometimes needing support around social emotional learning, but sometimes they need support in academics. They're all different, and we have to close those gaps as much as possible with foundational skills before they enter into kindergarten.
We are in the last year of the preschool development grant, and that was a grant where we did receive $8 million a year. Through the preschool development grant, we were able to add 22 classrooms, and that's a total of 440 seats for families who did not have services in pre-K before the preschool development grant.
Pulling this funding from this kind of schools would be a major crisis to families like myself.
Without that grant, I'm not sure that families could find a high-quality preschool program.
We already had over 1,000 students on the wait list before the grant, and we opened those 440 seats. So those are families, over 1,000 families or more, that will not have a place to send their child to.
They rely on Metro Schools being able to provide preschool and pre-kindergarten for their children. But Metro Schools is committed to continuing high-quality programming. Children attending pre-K now They're more likely to own homes. They're more likely to be productive citizens. So we're hoping that our families are sharing the good news about pre-K. We hear every day about how excited the families are enrolled in pre-K. But we are hoping that our families will share the news to their leaders and to their councilmen and let people know how excited they are and how valuable pre-K has been to their family and to their child.
So our hope is that if we could just maintain the high-quality pre-K that we have in future years, we know we can expand, but we'll be expanding with quality. So it's our goal to do that. But back to you. You are a graduating senior from Metro Nashville Public Schools. We're gonna miss you. We're gonna miss you. But I think you have a unique perspective that I think would be invaluable for us to talk about right now, particularly as we talk about improving our school district. So my question to you is that I'd like to know what have your experiences been like in Metro Nashville Public Schools, and specifically, what are your thoughts about what the district could do better to help students, but particularly as we're talking about equity, what could we do better to help young African American students, as well as other students within our district, as we try to move the needle for all students?
I'll answer that question in two parts. As an African American student within MNPS, I've experienced a wide range of things, from stereotypes to bias to blatant racism from as early as middle school. But I think the biggest problem and most overlooked problem is bias and an ignorance to where they stem from and the negative impact that they can have on children and their performance in classrooms. I think a misconception that a lot of students have and that a lot of teachers and administrators have is that if bias is informed with an intent to harm students, that it isn't harmful, which isn't true. When teachers or administrators inflict their personal bias on the students, that not only changes how a student performs in their classroom, but how a student then views themselves and how successful they can be. Just to give a few examples, my freshman year in an advanced placement class, I had a teacher make the announcement that all African American males look the same. To carry on with that, I was in a class who, let me just state that I don't believe the teacher has a single harmful bone in his body or would ever intend to harm a student. But he made the analogy, should I allow a member of the KKK to come in here and express their opinions? And although this example was a part of his lesson on who's able to express their opinions and who isn't, how that analogy affected the two African American children in that room weren't taken into consideration. A better example of how to do that was to maybe ask students to think of a personal time where they didn't agree with another person's beliefs, how that impacted them. So this way the lesson was more impactful and personal and didn't target out the two minority students in the classroom. But I want to make the point that bias isn't directly correlated with race. And I mean that to say I've had people from my own race try to deter me from the path I was on. For example, I've had a Black administrator imply that the reason African American students aren't pursuing advanced academics is because they're lazy. And one of my biggest supporters in my journey into IB and advanced academics has indeed been a white male. So bias doesn't directly correlate with race. So what we have to focus on is fixing the bias and how that affects students in the classroom. And I think this is why we see such a low number of minorities in advanced academics, because we're not addressing the root of the problem, which is causing students to not go into the program. But that leads me to the second part of my question about all students. Advanced academics should be applicable to all students. It shouldn't be based on an administrator saying, oh, you did well on the test, so I think you should come into this program. Or you seem bright, so let me put you into this program. Not considering that there's a student who's as equally as intelligent but isn't being pushed in their classrooms to tap into their potential, or is probably facing non-academic challenges at home that's causing them to perform poorly in the classroom. If I personally have had some of the best teachers these last 2 years in IB who pushed me to think critically. There are no wrong answers in their classroom, and it's really just a comforting and caring environment. And each student in NMPS, in my opinion, should be able to have that same access to quality teaching and teachers who genuinely care about it.
I met you a few months ago, and I thank you for inviting me to Hillsborough High School to speak to a group of students. You founded a club called the IB Achievers. Can you talk a little bit more about that, why you founded it? And, you know, when I left, I was so moved. I think I went back and I had a meeting with Dr. Gentry, and I had a meeting with Mrs. Jeannie Cooper-Walker, who's one of our board members, and I was talking about you. Just, I mean, your ears should have been burning because I was asking the question, what can we do as a district at scale for some of these issues? But if you could talk a little bit about that, why you created it. And then I think, you know, the challenge for us as a district is how do we make sure that it's not a courageous, intelligent student that makes sure equity is happening and opportunities are happening for kids, but the system itself is doing it without, you know, because it's the right thing to do, and it's because that's our mission and that's our charge.
Well, as Ms. Gentry said earlier, I created IB Achievers with the hope of increasing the retention rate of African Americans into the IB program. And so the group is composed of 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade African American students who are either already in the IB program. Oh, let me clarify, IB stands for International Baccalaureate, just in case some of you aren't aware of the pronouns I was using. But it's composed of 9th through 12th grade students, and we meet twice a month to create a social group, to create community, and also for them to meet with African American professionals to give them encouragement to carry on the path that they're on. I started the program because being African American in IB was one of the most challenging things that I faced. I felt isolated, I didn't feel supported. A lot of times I wanted to quit and drop out, not because I wasn't academically capable of doing the program, but because socially I just didn't feel supported. And I looked around the classroom, no one else looked like me. In a school where it's predominantly white and black, there are only a handful of minority students in IB. For example, we start preparing for the IB program freshman year, where there are 50 African American students on track to enter into IB. And by the time junior year came around, where you actually start taking the IB classes, that number had dropped to 10 and continues to drop since then. And so why I started the program is because I didn't want other students to feel isolated and discouraged the way I felt. I felt that if we could have a community of like-minded students supporting one another, then maybe we could address the problem of why we have so few minority students participating in IB. I feel that as humans, we have an obligation to help other people wherever we see fit. And so that's why I started the program and continue to run the meetings, and I will pass it out.
It's a powerful testimony about the power of one individual and what one individual's passion can do for an entire, for an entire school. So Hillsborough has benefited because of your excellence, your commitment, and your passion. And I'm sure we have Latino students that are in the same situation, Kurdish students that are in the same situation. We've got to look at across the district, how are we making sure all kids get what they need? And again, there's the resource. The thing that I just kept thinking about as I spoke with your team, your group, and listened, one, how you talked about the fact that you feel like outsiders inside of your school, even though, the school had a large majority of students, and I kept struggling in my mind with the why. And what we could be doing differently. And you had asked me, what investments are we making in implicit bias training? And I communicated to you that is an area of need for us as a district, and we do have to think about doing that systemically. And you have our commitment to do that question didn't fall on deaf ears. It's been haunting me for months now, because I know we must simply do more.
Well, thank you. And I want to thank the board for investing in social emotional learning. I feel like that's an important and profound first step. But as we continue on with the discussion, I have a few more questions for Dr. Joseph. So there's been much discussion about human resources and information technology systems in the school district. What can you share about the improvements underway and why investment in these areas is so crucial?
Yeah, you know, for the past 2 years, we have done everything we could do with very limited resource to push out as many dollars as we can to our schools. We're proud that as a large school district that focuses on student-based budgeting, meaning we push as many dollars out to schools, that Metro Nashville Public Schools pushes more dollars out to schools than any other large school district in the country that focuses on student-based budgeting. And over these past 2 years, we've made heavy investments to push more dollars there. But because we've had limited dollars, what we've not been able to do is really invest in our infrastructure. And human resources and IT are 2 areas that for the past 3 years, there have been significant requests that have not gone through the full budget season because there have been such needs with our students that we've just put those dollars there. But we, this year, I think we realize we're at a point where if we don't invest in our infrastructure, particularly in human resources and in IT, we don't think we can make the type of progress that we need to make. I mean, just imagine, 3 years ago, we only had 1 recruiter in human resources that were recruiting teachers, and we're in a district that hires hundreds of teachers a year. So over the course of the year, I mean, past 3 years, I've had over 700 community meetings. And in those community meetings, I constantly see people who are saying, hey, I applied for a job and nobody's contacted me. Well, if you don't have people who are able to process it and review it and call you back, then yes, I understand why that has been an issue. So in this particular budget, we are asking for additional resources in human resources. One, because we're moving to a new system that's going to require us to do so, to effectively implement our payroll and our recruiting and our processing. And then also with IT, as we bring in more technology solutions within the district, we just need people that can support those technology solutions and monitor them. So the investment that we're making right now, again, is a status quo investment just to get us to the place where we feel we can be in a better place to provide the type of world-class customer service that the families of Metro Nashville Public Schools deserve.
Finally, are there any points of pride you'd like to speak on since your arrival in May of 2016?
Oh man, these years have gone by very, very quickly. I would start by saying first, I have worked in 4 different school districts in my life, and I have never seen a group of committed employees like I have seen in Metro Nashville Public Schools. That's not something I brought in. That's something that was a culture that was already here. We just have very committed, very dedicated, hardworking employees, and I think we should give them a round of applause. Over the past 3 years, if we've done anything, I think the Board of Education and I have made some equity commitments. I think that's the best way to kind of package what we've done over the past 3 years. So over the past 3 years, I'm proud of a number of things. I'm proud of the fact that we have put more dollars in our neediest schools because we recognize that our schools have no chance to succeed, to hit high standards if they don't have the resources to be able to do that. We've placed a significant emphasis on literacy, and we've actually declared literacy to be one of the greatest civil rights issues that we must address in this city. Working with the mayor's office and dozens of nonprofits, we created Blueprint the Blueprint for Early Childhood Success, which is an action plan. Well, we have boldly declared that we're going to double the amount of kids reading on grade level by 2025. And the good news is last year we hit our target. And I just got news this week that we'll share with the Board of Education as we look at our internal tests that we call the measures of academic progress in reading and math. Our reading results as of February's test that just was completed shows that Nashville students grew faster than students in every other state and every other student. That same exam, and again we'll show it to the board coming up, is that in mathematics, where it's a place we've struggled, once again, we grew in every subgroup and every grade level faster than the nation, with the exception of 5th grade math, once again. But again, that's significant, and I think that we should get a round of applause as we look at the work happening there. You know, in addition, we are extremely proud of the fact that we've doubled the number of kids taking advanced courses in high school, and we nearly doubled the number of kids taking college entrance and industry certification exams. We saw increases in pass rates while the number of students that we are testing dramatically increased. One of the things that we've done is we actually pay for all students to take IB, dual enrollment, industry certification, college courses, and we did that because poverty shouldn't be something that limits your potential. And we boldly said we were going to do something about it, and we did. We also ensured that all students at the elementary and middle school level actually have access to gifted and talented courses. I mean, 3 years ago, I was floored to see that there were only certain parts of town that had gifted and talented opportunities. But if you were a kid at a school in North Nashville or East Nashville, you may not have even had access to giftedness. And, we just believe that all children are gifted. It just takes a great adult to pull it out of them. And we needed some supports to be able to do that. And we did be able to at least have a part-time person in every elementary and middle school now to be able to reach that potential. Because, a kid like Shawn wasn't so, he might not have seemed gifted, but he had the gift of gab, but that was about it. But with those investments, you can bring out the best in children. Again, we were proud that in that first year we were able to give that 3% raise and a step, which was significant. I mean, a step for our district is about $8 million. So it's a hefty investment. And that first year's budget where we got $36 million, we were able to make a 3% increase and a step. And we hope to be able to do that again. But we're going to fight the good fight as we go through this season. Again, asking for that 3% raise and then asking for an additional $1 for our bus drivers who so deservingly need those dollars, bus drivers and bus assistants who need those dollars as they do not make a livable wage within our city as well as other folks. But, I mean, we've been able to secure $24 million in federal dollars to provide for advanced learning opportunities in 5 of our elementary schools, and we also had dollars to add specific targeted dollars for social emotional learning in PreK. And I think one of the best things that the board and I collaborated on together was establishing a strategic plan. Because 3 years ago, we didn't necessarily know where we were going and how we were going to get there and what we were going to be monitoring. But now we are extremely clear about where we're going and how we're getting there, so much so that Michael Casserly has deemed that our evaluation process one of the most rigorous in America. And it's not an evaluation process of a director. It's a status check of how the school system is doing. And if we use it correctly, it lets us know where we need to add resource or change strategy, but we can have meaningful conversation. Because once upon a time, things were just hidden and not brought to the level of visible sight to say, there's a problem and what are we doing about it? But that now, we're just in a different space and place. Again, suspensions, particularly for African American students, have dramatically decreased. by over 1,782 students. And we proclaim we're just not going to arrest kids in elementary school anymore. That two more things. We increased the dollars for English language learners and special education, even while we cut $15 million from our budget last year. And that's significant because, again, we're going to be talking about to the board soon about our MAP data, and it shows that for the first time, our English language learners, we give all students targets to hit, and English language learners, 60% of the thousands of English language learners that we have in the district actually hit their growth targets this year for the first time, and that is significant. 60%. And lastly, we started the early college. We've always had a middle college, 10 through 12, but now we said, again, it was an expectations thing. We said if we're going to do it, let's do it right. And let's bring kids in 9th grade, and by 12th grade, let's make sure all of them not only earn a high school diploma, but they earn their associate's degree. So we had 70 students in the program last year. We're hoping to get 100 students in the program this year. But in 4 years, we'll start graduating kids who will definitely be advantaged by their experiences in our school system. Because having an associate's degree while you're in high school is an absolute game changer for your life. So we feel pretty good because all those things I talked about happened in 2.5 years. So as I hear people discuss, challenge and stress, we've worked with a sense of urgency because we knew that there were kids like you in our district that had all the potential in the world. They just needed access to an opportunity. And when you give kids access to an opportunity, great things can happen. So I'm beyond proud of the work that's happened over these past 2.5 years, and I'm looking forward to watching our district continue to move forward if we can have the courage to commit to our equity agenda.
Thank you. Are there any final remarks or points you'd like to add to the conversation before we end?
Yeah, all I want to say is I know you want to be a medical doctor, but Lord, if you want to be a teacher, you are hired. And I love what I do. And I love doing it because when I see and hear students like you, you don't know the impact that you have on my life personally. You have stayed in my mind in those conversations on how do we get it right for you. You have strengthened me, and you've altered my thinking. You and hundreds of other students, as I go to all schools, I try to speak to students and connect and understand from their perspective what is really happening and what can we do as the adults to fight for you, to make things right for you. So I'm just thankful for the opportunity I've been given to serve. And is there anything you'd like to share?
I'd like to thank you for this opportunity, and I'd also like to say to the students here and to all MNPS students that you have a voice and don't ever be afraid to use that voice. As my mom once told me, you don't have to be grown to start making a difference. And by grown, I don't mean you just turned 18, you think you're legal now, but never be afraid to use your voice for positive impact and change. Well, I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Could you please give our Director of Schools, Dr. Shawn Joseph, another round of applause.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, let's please give it up for Kennedy Musgrove.
Thank you. Thank you.
Several months ago, I got an email. It was a survey. It was a one-question survey. Many of you probably got the same survey. It was for the new governor, whoever the new governor was going to be. What's the one thing you want to see the new governor do when they become governor of the state of Tennessee? And I replied, fully fund a large urban district. If it's this one, great, but fully fund one and see what can happen. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you're sitting in a school with over 85% poverty rate, but you're sitting in only the second accredited STEM school in the state of Tennessee. So, Dr. Joseph, thank you for asking for money, whatever we can do to support you with the city council to get that money that you always ask for. Thank you for that. And for those of you that are elected officials in here, thank you for being here. I always see Anthony Davis and Mr. Withers here to support Stratford. Thank you so much for that. But for all you other elected officials that are representing elected officials, please just ask them to fully fund this district just 1 year and see what we can do. If this is a fully funded school, there's no doubt in my mind that we do so much more besides having a first-place robotics team with only about 10 kids in a STEM, advanced STEM accredited school, the second one in the state of Tennessee. There's so much more all of our schools can do. Kennedy, where'd you go? Kennedy, a couple of months ago, I took Shawn Moore and a few other students to speak with me at a conference. And then when I came to a basketball game, I saw Shawn walking by, and I had my wife with me. I said, that's her. That's the girl that I took with me, and she's amazing. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, and Dr. Joseph is correct. You're going to be on my mind for a long time now. But I kept thinking about you and how impressive you were, and I couldn't believe that you were in high school. I thought, who is this new person we've hired? I really did. I was like, who is this new person we hired? But I couldn't help but think, but your mom is here. And your mom must be an amazing woman to raise you. So thank you, Mom. Every day I get to come to work at this amazing school. It's my 9th year, and I work with the most amazing administrators and teachers, and I want to thank them for being here. I want to thank all principals for being here. I know it's hard to get out of your schools, all educators for being here. It's hard to get away. But I want to thank these amazing folks down here, these amazing administrators. Would you please stand up, please? Dr. Janet Wallace, Dr. Keisha Becerra, Mr. Howard Jones, and Dr. Finch is out running the school right now, so thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Burris and the choir for doing an amazing job. I think that, and I'm just very impressed. I can't get over the dialogue here. It was great. And I want to thank Dr. Joseph and the school board for being here. Thank you very much. Let's have a fantastic day.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.